So the issue surrounding climate change and environmental issues as it relates to public policy, I think is a really interesting topic to look at because it really is a good example for how the state and local levels can really be doing more to fix the issue than the federal government is doing. And the authors Smith and Greenblatt speak to how really at the federal level we're seeing sort of a lack of ability to tackle the issue due to increased political divisiveness and partisan divides. But at the local level, people are taking action, and I think it's partially due to the fact that these environmental issues that we're facing all around the world, even though it's a global issue, people are experiencing them at the local level, and so that I think that means that there's an increased drive to do something at the local level, and when it comes to these public policy issues, there's an increased level of rationality at the local level. And I thought the authors presented a pretty interesting mix of sort of ways in which the local level is tackling issues of climate change, and they spoke to things like land use planning to tackle problems like urban sprawl, and how those kinds of things can help with local issues of transportation, which of course can have significant environmental impacts. Land use planning also gets into areas of density development, mixed use development, sort of returning to the way cities used to be in the past, where you'd have sort of walkable communities where people would live and work sort of in the same area, and you wouldn't have so much dependency on these having to travel long distances with a vehicle or that kind of thing. And so they speak to how land use planning, and the integration of density with transportation, these are things that these are decisions that are made at the local level, and they can have significant impacts as they aggregate across many localities and finally get up to the global level. And another interesting part of the discussion that I thought the authors touched on was how building codes can be the development of building codes is largely a local decision, whether it be the state or local government level. And building codes can have a significant ability to exaggerate the issue or help the issue in terms of making buildings greener, or the way that they handle their stormwater runoff, or these other types of issues. And so I think it's this issue is really interesting when you look at it from that perspective, because we see a federal government that's really not able to mount an effective response to what's really a global issue, but because people live local, and they live local, and the issues are local for them, I think we're seeing that increased level of rationality. And for me, that's pretty encouraging, because this is an issue that isn't going away, and it's a significant issue, and it's only going to become increasingly problematic in the future. And I see this every day in my professional role in public works. I see the environmental challenges that we're facing, and I'm sort of intimately familiar with what's going on.